Well, we're missing a bumper panel because we came down into the first corner and I had no brakes. 2002 Subaru Impreza, or Impreza, or however you want to say it. I know I got pulled out on calling it an Impreza because there's no T apparently. Impreza. Subaru. Anyway, this is a 2002 Subaru Impreza, and it is what they call a blob eye. So the different lights, the different shaped lights have different names. There's the bug eye, the blob eye, there's the classic, which you know, the GC8 shape, hawk eye, pink eye maybe not. So yeah, this is a blob, and this is our car. So the plan is, as soon as we've got a venue hired for the micro test, we're gonna kill two birds with one stone, and we're gonna take this with us as well, because this has just had a fresh engine that we fitted. You've probably seen it in the background with the bonnet up, and that's what we've been doing to that. So it looks pretty much the same, but this one hasn't got a big hole in it like the last one. Standard layout, obviously not standard engine, standard layout, boxer engine, flat 4, EJ20, intercooler on the top. That's how they are mounted, top mounted intercooler. Some people move them and put front mount, but I feel what you can do is, if you have a too big a front mount, it can block the rad and you can get overheating problems and things like that. These seem to work really well like this, if they're not too over-tuned. We've had no problems with it being like that. So standard layout. New engine, as you can see, the block is nice, clean and shiny. It's done by a good friend of mine called Andy Williams. He's quite well known in Subaru circles for being a very good engine builder. It's had new head gaskets, it's had new crank, it's had loads of bits. So yeah, this weekend we thought this would be our first test run of it, really, because we haven't tested it at all. I've run it up, I've put some running in oil in it, so I'm not going to give it total death on the weekend. I'm just going to give it a good little shakedown, really. That's an oil catch tank. What else do you want to know? Standard airbox, but with a different filter. Again, I like to keep it like that because it keeps everything dry and safe. And so it sucks in there, goes into the inner arch, then into here, then through into the engine. Having the filter in there enclosed, yeah, you might say it might not suck as much air, but it's safe and it works, so we're keeping it like that. This is kind of like a Group N spec car, or it was. Maybe it's a little bit Group N plus, if you like. So everything is meant to be relatively standard, except we've got we've got a mapped engine, we've got different rods, upgraded heads, things like that. So it isn't Group N, but there's a lot of things that are Group N on it. Another thing you can't see, but I will point out to you, remember when we were talking about on the list in the first video of what you need to check on your PDI list for rallying? Well, on a turbo car like this, you've got one of these. I don't know if you can see that little FIA tag there. So that little tag there is a seal for the turbo restrictor, which is here underneath that pipe, bolted onto the turbo. There's a restrictor that restricts the amount of air into the turbo. Now, these cars have to have these restrictors, and then they have to be sealed. So if a scrutineer sees that this has been tampered with, he'll know because this seal has been broken. So he will check that before the rally. He'll check the number on it and check the number of that matches the one on the logbook of the car. So if you want to go stage rallying, you will have to have a restrictor, which is 32 or 34 mil, and it will have to be sealed. So that's what that is. Unrestricted, you could get mega horsepower out of these, but they've got to be restricted. So fuel filters in the same place. It's a slightly different one to standard, because on the standard Imprezas, all these fuel lines, they go through multiple pipes around here. So this has been changed to make it simpler. So inlet and return there. These are fire extinguishers that we've talked about before. These are the nozzles. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 in the bulkhead, 2 there, 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 and hopefully I won't have to go in there when we test it. We'll do a little walk around from the outside first. Yeah, pretty much standard bodywork. We've got these Kevlar sill guards, and again right underneath the car there's floor guards which are made out of Kevlar. These just protect the sills from stone rash. Once they get hammered and are destroyed, you can unbolt those and put fresh ones on. It just keeps the car looking nice, and it protects the bodywork, protects the actual shell of the car. Speedline wheels. These are 17-inch tarmac wheels, which is what they would have used in period of this age. They went on to 18s after that. But yeah, these are what you'll notice. If some of you might notice through the wheel there is it's got gravel brakes on it. I have got a big brake kit, which I can show you after. The gold calipers, I've got those, but I haven't got discs and pads and things ready, so I'm not going to use them this weekend. Plus, the place that we're using, it shouldn't generate too much heat, and we shouldn't need to go any more than a gravel caliper with a decent pad in. If I was doing proper tarmac events, then yes, I'd change that, but we'll just leave it like that for now. It'll be all right. These tyres are like a semi-slick tyre. I don't know if you can see the pattern on those. They're quite a soft. They're actually XS, they're probably extra soft. They don't actually make these D-Max anymore, but they are a very soft tyre. So again, for what we're using, they'll switch on quite quickly and they should work straight away, really. Inside is, yeah, the rally cars that you've seen before. All stripped out, all door cards, lightened door cards. Brake bias adjuster here. I tell you what, jump in and I'll show you everything inside. It is a tight squeeze getting in, because unlike the Micra, everything in here is quite enclosed. Like, we've got these winged seats. The cage comes right up here on the side, and just the seating position, it's all quite enclosed and safe. So it's a bit of a squeeze, but once you're in, it's quite nice. So what I'll do a little how to steal my rally car again, like I did on the last video. This one's quite simple. There's no key like a normal car. This is your key, this kill switch here. So kill on, and then you got these which are called, well, we call them poppers, not like the amyl nitrate version, but basically little circuit breakers, and we use these as switches basically. And also, if there's a problem, it acts like a fuse. It trips like the one in your house, really. So what we do is, you'll notice a lot of rally cars, like all the pro drive cars and that, they're sat there pushing all the buttons in and then switching all the buttons down and turning it on, a bit like an aircraft. It's quite cool. Kill switch on, ignition on, ECU on, fuel pump on. You can hear the fuel pump going now. And then this one here is your ignition switch, basically. So it's not on or off. It's a what do they call it? Well, they're like a spring-loaded switch. Yeah. This sometimes takes a while to start because it's not warm, but I did start it earlier, so it should start all right. There we go. It's a little bit lazy starting, so yeah, we just let it run, let it get up to temperature. There's another switch here which does the fan, so I can override the fan on there. There's also a switch here which is called ALS, which is anti-lag system. So that's disconnected at the moment because I don't want it working while we're running the engine in. That's intercooler spray, which I can override and switch, sprays water on the intercooler to cool it down. But ALS is anti-lag, so basically when you're coming into a corner or something and your turbo, you get a bit of turbo lag, this will prevent that in theory. I can go into that into detail in another episode, but yeah, that's what anti-lag does. So I thought I'd switch it off because it's a bit noisy. Not that noisy is a bad thing. Gearbox is a 6-speed gearbox. The 6-speed is the strongest of the gearboxes, and they're built in a slightly different way. The 5 speeds are built like in 2 halves like that. They tend to stretch and wreck the gears. the 6 speeds are built in sections like that, one in front of the other. So they're really strong, but they're really heavy. If you ever had to change one, they are really heavy compared to the 5-speed. But a lot stronger box, and the gear ratios are pretty good in this. I think this is whatever a standard STI would be. I think they're similar ratios to that, so good enough for us. This is the old turning wand. We like a bit of that. Yeah, it's a bit of a monstrosity, this one, because it's been added on to make it longer, but it is quite nice having it there, because you got your gears there, handbrake there, everything's quite, it's the word I'm looking at, ergonomic. That's it, Chris. Yeah, I thought you'd know. Fire extinguisher on there, so if there's a fire I can press that, fire extinguisher system will go off. Yeah, there's not much else interesting in here. You know how to steal it, and you know where it is, so yeah, silly, wasn't it? So I don't know if you got that on film. It's going straight on. Did you get that on? No. Oh. Well, we're missing a bumper panel because we came down into the first corner and I had no brakes. We've just done a couple of runs and we had brakes perfectly, but now something's broken and I've got 0 brakes. So that was quite exciting. I just had to hold on for dear life until it slowed down. Brakes work now. The walk of shame, they call this.